Okay, welcome back to a tutorial on getting to know your boat and basic terminology. So while I'm not doing every part of this boat, just the most important ones, I will also slip into a little bit of other things as well. So first of all, let's have a look at the rigging. The rigging is this part here: the mast, the forestay, the backstay, the boom, and just talk about it very quickly. So this rigging is often called a fractional rigging. Why is it fractional? Well, whereas the backstay here goes to the top of the mast, the forestay here doesn't go to the top, it goes just down below it. This is usually for boats that are not so much cruisers but racers. The reason for this I will explain in a later video. So we have the forestay here. We also have down the front here a furler. Okay, this black thing here is the furler. So you would use a sheet as a line to unfurl the jib or the genoa. In this case it's the genoa. And as we move back, we get to the mast, and on the mast we have the side spreaders. Okay, these keep the side stays away from the mast and provides tension to the sides. And then we have the backstay. So in this way, our forestay, our backstay, and our side spreaders keep the mast upright. But we can adjust these to create curve in the mast to adjust the sails. Alright, let me move down a little bit to where I want to be. So this is called the boom. Okay, and the boom is what the main sail is attached to. We have the boom vang here, and as you look down, you can see it's all the sheets coming down back into the cockpit. We also have the traveller here. Okay, the car traveller, and our winches, and a winch handle here. We have the main wheel. On the Mini, because it's longer, it's called a tiller. We also have the main sheet traveller and the main sheet adjustments here as well. Is on this side here. Okay, this side here, this is considered to be port side. Not considered, it is the port side, and this is the starboard side. Okay, we have the aft or the stern and the bow at the front. So if I am, and you can look at the map here, at the moment, as you know, pointing into irons, if I turn away from the wind, this is called bearing away. So now that I've bared away, I am on a starboard tack. Why is this considered to be a starboard tack? Because the wind is coming across our starboard side to hit the sail. If I luff up, which means going towards the wind, and then tack across, I will now be on a port tack. This is because the wind is coming from the port side and hitting the sail from that direction. Okay, now on a beam reach, and I just want to describe each part of the sails. So both sails, the jib here and the main, have some similar naming systems. So at the edge out here, we call this the clew. Near the goose neck, which connects the boom to the main, we have the tack. The line that goes up to the top of the main we call the luff. At the top here is the main halyard. It is a line which comes from within the mast itself back to the cockpit, and it comes up, and you pull this up to get the main to go up. And then the curved back here is called the leech, and you may even hear a term called the roach, which is a line which is very close to the leech, which goes back to the corner as well. We also have these telltales here, okay, and we have 1, 2, 3 main battens on this. A batten is usually an insert into the main sail, where there's either wood or plastic rod placed to keep it firm. The other things, or the other terms we need to know, is that this is also called the head of the sail, and this along the boom here is called the foot. Okay, the next part I want to talk about is all of the halyards and the sheets and the different parts of what they control. This will not be about trimming. This is just to give you a basic working knowledge of what each thing does. So let's start with the main halyard. On the cruiser there are I believe 3 halyards. We've got the Jenica halyard, the main halyard, and the jib halyard. The Genoa is a furl system, and as we saw before, the furler at the front with the Jenica already wrapped around. Yeah, with the furler here and the Jenica twisted around along the stay. Alright, back to cockpit position. So the halyards, or the 3 different halyards that we have, they raise the Jenica, the main, and the jib. And the Genoa is unfurled. These halyards go through the main mast up to the top, with the jib halyard and the Jenica halyard coming out from this point here. Okay, they are separate from the stay, they are another line, and the main halyard coming out from the top of the mast. As I said, this was a asymmetrical rig, and this halyard comes down to the back here. On my boat, or not my boat, the boat that I sail in, when we are set like this, the halyard actually comes back and attaches to the boom at the back here to keep the boom steady. Okay, to talk about the other parts, I will need to raise the main and the jib. So I'm just changing the angle here so you can see the main go up, and I might as well unfurl the Genoa at the same time, and just bear away a little bit. As I said, this is not about trimming. So alright, so now that I've done that, we can go through the rest of the sheets here and the travellers. So we have the main sheet traveller. It obviously, if you can see the car here being moved from side to side, usually on a normal boat. In this lighter wind, it would be placed more to windward rather than to leeward, and this really adjusts where the pole is going to be, helps adjust where the pole is going to be, and the main sheet will fill in these lines here to tighten it to a more central position, the center of the boat. As I said, I'm not looking at trim. And next is the backstay, which is this here, which goes up to the top of the mast. This can adjust the tension and adjust curvature at the top of the mast to adjust your jib or the foresail, as well as a little adjustments to the mainsail as well. So from the backstay we go, not to the main sheet, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So from the backstay we go to the Genoa sheet, and this, as I will show you, if I can get into a good position, okay. And this sheet goes from the winch here through the traveller to the clew, and by adjusting it, I can either let out or let back in. You might see this green line here. This is the other side of the sheet. So when you tack, this one here would be pulled across, and this one would be loosened, so that the sail will go past the center line and over to the other side. So next is the lead car, the Genoa lead car, which is what our Genoa sheet is going through. Tighten or loosen the clew, and in lighter winds usually it goes more forward, and in heavier winds it usually comes a little bit more back. Once again, I'm just giving you a basic overview here. Now we need to look at the reefs. So on the cruiser we have 3 different reefs, 1, 2, 3. So the first reef, usually you can see the reef points, but on this you really can't. So if I reefed it, okay, there's the first reef point, and the next reef point would probably be here, and then the next reef point would be somewhere a little bit higher up. And these reefs are basically just in very heavy wind, where you don't want as much wind hitting your sails. So less sail area, more stability, less heel. Okay, so from the reefs we go to the main vang, and this is the vang here. The line comes through and then up to the vang itself, and this will pull down the boom. Often when you're using the main traveller and the main sheet, when you pop them out to each side or you release it a little bit more, the boom goes up, which means that the foot of the sail gets crinkled up, and we want more of a horizontal line here. So by pulling the vang down, we can make more of a horizontal line. So from the vang, we've already talked about the Genoa halyard we haven't talked about, but we can only adjust this one down to 100%, and it changes the tension on the Genoa itself. Okay, so at the moment I'm trying to look for the Cunningham and the outhaul, but because I'm reefed, I won't be able to find them. So let me just unreef again for a second. Okay, so I'm reefed now. So let's talk about the outhaul. The outhaul once again comes up through the gooseneck, down the boom, and then to the clew here. And by adjusting the outhaul, what we're doing is we're pulling the main closer to the end, or we're pushing it back in. This helps adjust the foot of the sail and also some of the crinkles that you might get in the sail itself. And then the last one is the Cunningham. The Cunningham goes from, once again here, not getting as good as I want. The Cunningham, yeah, that's a better view. Okay, so the last one is the Cunningham, and it comes once again up through the mast. Well, actually, no, sorry, it doesn't come up through the mast. It comes up one of these cleats, and then it attaches itself to the bottom of the sail here, and this allows us to change the tension along the luff of the sail. In a future video, I will talk about advanced trimming, and in that case, I will be using all of these things and explaining each one as I go in much more detail in terms of what is actually happening to the sails. But for today, that's enough. Thank you.